Point guard Scotty was unlocked, and I am about to go absolutely mental. And I don't care. With all the talk, with all the chatter around this team, especially around their star player, over the last 48 hours, all I've heard is 9 points. I am so convinced that I've heard the term 9 points, 9 points, 9 points, because that's what Scotty had last game, 9 points. I've heard it so often. And then, of course, I went to bat and I got really upset. I got upset because I genuinely feel that people don't understand the value of this guy. And today I made a video called Scotty Barnes is Not Human, in which I talked about a lot of things that came true in this game. I talked about how Scotty in the middle of the court is a godsend for the offense, but Scotty in the corners is useless and, quite frankly, a distraction for the offense and a detriment to the offense. And today, for at least 65% of this game, Scotty Barnes was in the center of the court. And it resulted in some beautiful transition offense, beautiful half-court offense, great side-to-side playmaking. People ate. The Raptors look like a competent offense? Who knew? Who knew? Scotty Barnes doesn't have a handle. Scotty Barnes can't score. Scotty Barnes can't generate offense. Scotty Barnes can't get his own shot. The number of stupid things I heard on the panel on Thursday are why I am so animated today, because it is so obvious to me that roles dictate performance so much. You didn't know Jalen Johnson was capable of 32 points, 20 rebounds, 16 assists, or whatever crazy numbers he's putting up until Trae Young got out of the way. But at least with Trae Young, you're talking about a generational playmaker, and you can at least understand why the ball is in his hands. I'm going to let you know something. There are at least 4 people who are deeply connected within the Raptors organization who have independently said to me, I think Immanuel Quickley is a black hole. 4 people within the Raptors organization. That's all I'm going to say. I'm not listing names. Immanuel Quickley is a black hole. Immanuel Quickley, teammates don't like him. Teammates don't like playing with him. Why? Because he's not a point guard. But for the entire year so far, we've been told that the Raptors offense struggles because of Scottie Barnes. The Raptors offense struggles because of spacing. Immanuel Quickley is crucial. Now, before I get too high on my own supply and before I get too far ahead of myself, I do want to say Scottie Barnes is not a full-time point guard. No. Scottie Barnes is not a full-time point guard yet. There is work to be done. But neither is Immanuel Quickley. And one of these players is way closer to accomplishing the sufficient requirements of that position than the other. A very long time ago, this was like 2001, I asked somebody, what makes somebody a point guard? This was a debate that I was having with an assistant coach who at the time was actually an assistant coach for the Toronto Raptors. And I was very young. I was like 15 years old. And I was at a basketball camp and I asked this question. Forgive me, I am sick. Give me one sec. I am quite sick. Been coughing for like weeks at this point. I need to get this checked out. So I was talking to the assistant coach and I said, what makes someone a true point guard? And they said, well, there's a lot of things. And this is before the 3-point revolution. So 3-point pull-up jump shooting was not really a huge part of it because at that time, you had a lot of point guards who weren't necessarily great 3-point shooters. And the thing he said was, as you cross half court, are you thinking about what's good for you or what's good for your team? And if you're thinking about what's good for your team, you at least have the baseline requirement to be a point guard. And I was thinking at the time about someone like Allen Iverson versus someone like Eric Snow. Certainly, Allen Iverson was a better ball handler, better pull-up jump shooter, better shooter overall, better scorer. But Eric Snow was more of a facilitator. It's interesting to have Alvin Williams, right? And Alvin Williams was the epitome of a combo guard. He was not a pure point guard at all. He drove me crazy. Every time I watched him play, I was like, oh my God, I can't wait for us to get actual point guard. Alvin Williams is a really good defender, but Alvin did not necessarily have the positional, he didn't have the vision for the position. He wasn't necessarily selfish, but he didn't have like point guard vision. So Alvin was like a combo guard who was necessitated to play point guard by Lenny Wilkins. Lenny Wilkins was a true point guard. It's kind of interesting that that whole thing happened. And today, Alvin Williams, who usually pisses me off, said two incredible things within 42 minutes of each other. First, and give me a W if you caught it. If you watched the game and you listened to the game, Alvin Williams said, I'm seeing Magic Johnson out there as it pertains to Scottie Barnes' passing. The second thing he said when Scottie made that block, I believe on Jeremiah Fears or Jordan Poole, I can't remember. He said, LeBron used to do that. We got a former professional basketball player who spent over a decade playing professional sports, comparing Scottie Barnes to Magic Johnson and LeBron James, both players that he actually saw up close. And you have the panel comparing Scottie Barnes to Domantas Sabonis and Rudy Gobert and Draymond Green. There are differentials, there are levels to this. I think today you got to see beautiful offense, and it's not, let's not even pretend this is the first time we've seen this. We have seen this. Goggle Scotty was going crazy just like this. There have been games against teams like Atlanta like 2 years ago where the offense went absolutely ridiculous and the Raptors scored so many points and people were just like, oh my God, we should start Scotty. Every single year we have this discussion. Scottie Barnes is a point guard. Now, so much of today's live is going to be how the Raptors offense functioned. I'm going to talk about who did what, where, when, and how. But I'm also going to be the type of analyst who's going to caution this and say, this is the New Orleans Pelicans without Dejounte Murray and without Trey Murphy. And that does matter, right? This matters. Nobody said Scottie was better than LeBron. Relax. I would never say that. I know better. But in a lot of ways, growing up, Magic Johnson was one of my favorite basketball players. He was one of my dad's favorite basketball players. Magic Johnson, Arvydas Sabonis, Dražen Petrovic. These were my dad's favorite basketball players. Larry Bird was not one of my dad's favorite basketball players. So just to, make that connection for anybody out there who understands that there was like some racial alignment in the whole thing. No, my dad was firmly a pro Magic guy. And I think my dad partially was a pro Magic guy because Vlade Divac played with Magic Johnson, and maybe that's the Serbian thing. But I do want to say that Scottie Barnes is the closest thing to Magic Johnson that I have ever seen in the NBA, especially when he plays point guard. I understand that his raw assist totals don't show that, but tomorrow I'm going to actually do something really cool for this platform and for this channel. I've been thinking about meaningful content to make, and what I want to do is actually take a very deep dive into every single pass that Scottie threw today, including the turnovers, including the ones that didn't result in anything, including the ones that resulted in a pass to a pass. I just want to show you what he was thinking and how it might be different. Because again, when you throw a pass to Colin Murray-Boyles and he smokes a layup, that doesn't mean that if you had thrown that same pass to Nick Claxton, hypothetically, if you played with Nick Claxton, that he wouldn't dunk it. If you throw a pass to RJ Barrett and he smokes the three, it doesn't mean that if you threw that same pass to Trey Murphy. And this is where I think the Raptors need to change their thinking. And the changing of the thinking is when you have a player who is such a great playmaker in the middle of the court, and his handle and his scoring package and his mid-range jump shooting have improved so much, you have an obligation to your own franchise to surround him with elite play finishers. And the reason that I said earlier that I don't think Scottie is a permanent point guard is because the New Orleans Pelicans are very bad defense. And that game that comes to mind where he absolutely destroyed Atlanta, I'm reminded Atlanta was a very bad defense. It's easier to do this, what Scottie did tonight, against teams that are infamously bad at defending. Lanes are wider, but try doing this against OKC, and you'll quickly learn that Scottie is going to be very limited in those situations, because when Cason Wallace gets into your dribble and you can't move, you need a secondary playmaker. And that's where I say what you need next to a Scottie Barnes is not no point guards. What you need is a point guard who can successfully play off the ball and allow him to create. And that's where you get someone like a Kyrie Irving, someone who is equally effective on and off the ball, but actually understands how to play off the ball. That's where you get someone like a Derek White, who can occasionally play on ball, but is very useful off the ball. This is not an invitation to surround Scotty with more guys like Brandon Ingram who like to aura farm over and over and over again, you know? And I think Scotty's handle is so much better than people give it credit for. Very rarely, if ever, are you going to see Scotty Barnes get stripped on a live dribble. It happens to most point guards. Like it happens to Cade. It happened just the other day. Scotty stripped. Who did he strip? Just the other day. Who the Kawhi Leonard? Like it happens. You know, it happens. People dig into your dribble. You get stripped once or twice a game. It happens to a lot of point guards. Cade Cunningham led the entire league last year in lost ball turnovers. It happens, especially when you're a big playmaker. It definitely happens. When you're Muggsy Bogues, it doesn't happen so much because guys don't get down enough into your handle. But when you're bigger, when you're 6'5", 6'6", your handle is so much easier. It's just gravity. Like you could just it's physics, right? It's physics. Literally, when you're taller and you have like these super high hips, the ball has to come up higher, creates more of a place for guys to poke away the dribble, especially when you don't have space. So I look at someone like a Scottie Barnes and I say, well, I think that someone like a Scottie Barnes needs a creative off-ball playmaker with him who can play on and off the ball, who can share responsibilities with him, who can create for him. And some elements of that we're seeing today. We saw a lot of Scotty as the solo ball handler to start the game. I think the Raptors got off to a very, very good start. Transition, pushing down the pace, finding open shooters, finding open cutters, getting early advantages. Jakob Poeltl had a big game. 11 rebounds for Jakob Poeltl, 12 assists for Scottie Barnes, 23 points for Scottie Barnes. We'll talk about all of that. And then you started to see shooters getting wide open. You saw, like, there's a particular play that I will show in the film breakdown, which is going to be very Scotty-centric, cheat sheet, where Brandon Ingram gets probably the cleanest three he got all night. And I'll show you exactly how Scotty creates that pass that led to the pass. And I think that this is where you need to you need to stop putting Scotty in the corner. Scotty needs to be in two places, basically, at all times. Either he needs to be leading your offense and initiating in the middle of the floor, or he needs to be the person vacating the block to come up and receive the basketball or set a screen. Scottie Barnes' entire job offensively should be centered into the free throw line, extended area, and down up to the logo. That's where I want him. I don't ever want him sitting in the corner waiting for a pass that will inevitably never come. And then when it comes, he's just not a good enough jump shooter. This is how you make your best player totally useless. Paolo is not barely ever in the corners, and he can't hold a candle to Scottie Barnes as a player or a playmaker right now. Can you please, for the love of God, like get therapy, or please stop writing in all caps? Like, I understand your need for validation and attention because you're like writing in all caps, but can you please stop? It's deeply distracting and, quite frankly, attention whoring, like for no reason whatsoever. If you want to have your inane crazy thoughts like plastered into people's minds, instead of writing all caps like a potential psychopath or a, I don't know, school shooter, can you possibly send a super chat? That helps me a lot, and I would be very deeply thankful to you for it. Okay, so my point is that when you consider the way the Raptors play offense, Scotty being in the corner is a detriment to everybody, including him. It's not just about what's good for Scotty. And this is a question that people sometimes, flounder on, is like, is it good for Scotty or is it good for the Raptors? Putting him in the corner is good for nobody. Honestly, nobody. Nobody. It's not good for the roll man. It's not good for the ball handler. It's not good for anybody, because his man is always able to sink off of him. He's not like the most fleet of foot guy, like where he's just going to burst off the charging block and just dart to the rim for the cuts. So it's just, and of course, he's one of your best offensive rebounders. Why the hell would you ever want to put him in the corner? It's such a dumbass thing to do. And the fact that the Raptors consistently put him in the corner, even tonight, there was an entire quarter where he just basically sat in the corner and waited for shit to happen. And despite all that, he ends up with 23 points and 12 assists. So, let's take a look at this game. It was never in doubt. It was never in doubt. On the panel, they told me Zion Williamson better than Scottie Barnes. No, he ain't. No, he absolutely is not. Ja Morant's not better than Scottie Barnes. Domantas Sabonis not better than Scottie Barnes. I'm going to tell you right now, there's a lot of players who are not better than Scottie Barnes that you probably think are better than Scottie Barnes. And I don't care. Like, this is nuts to me. some of the shit I heard this week, apologies must be issued. Apologies must be issued. Tonight, Herb Jones, an absolutely abysmal 2 points. Yikes. 2 points, 2 blocks, 3 steals. Shoutouts to Herb. Really had a cold shooting game. 0 for 4 from 3. Zion Williamson with a competent 22 points. The Raptors lost him consistently, and he bullied his way to the basket a few times. Yves Missi got a Scotty Barnes size poster on his head. But nevertheless, 7 points, 1 block, 2 rebounds. Not bad. Saddiq Bey with 19 points. Low key, I vastly prefer Saddiq Bey to RJ Barrett. Like, vastly. Actually, you know what's kind of crazy? There's 3 wings on this team that I vastly prefer to RJ Barrett: Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, and Saddiq Bey. That's pretty much how low I am on RJ Barrett at this point. Jeremiah Fears gets the starting job in place of Dejounte Murray, and he struggled from the field, especially early, but I think he found his bearings a little bit late. Matkovic, one of my favorite role players, coming off the bench, he had 4 points. DeAndre Jordan, old man Jordan, including a poster on him by Sandro Mamukelashvili. Crazy. Or, yeah, like, I mean, that was nuts. 8 points for him, 7 rebounds. Derek Queen was very impressive tonight. I mean, he got toasted a few times, but man, I am very impressed with what I saw from Derek Queen tonight, especially the competitive fire towards the end of the game. The Raptors, if you didn't watch this game, you know, power to you. I suggest you go back and watch it if you have an opportunity to watch it, or at least watch the highlights. The Raptors were up 20 when they went to garbage time, and then proceeded to absolutely lose their minds in the last minute of this game. It is truly insane that the Raptors managed to squander that big a lead that quickly. And it's happened so many times with the garbage time units that you really do have to wonder. Like, Markeel Foltz is probably not getting a second 10 day because it happens every time he's on the court. But I really don't think it's his fault. Am I biased? Maybe I am. I love Markeel Foltz. I cannot imagine, as someone who has watched Markeel so much in my life, that he is the reason that these runs are happening. But he is the one who had the turnover late in the game. And, you know, like, it's just, the team becomes so disorganized without Scotty or Jamal Shed on the court. So kind of nuts, man. The same thing happened against Utah. We were up 30, and it was bad. Like, 2 times Markeel nearly gave up a lead. So he's the new guy. Everyone's eyes are on him. He's a former first overall pick. He comes in, hits a jump shot, and then the lead goes away. And people are just like, see, it's Markel's fault. I really don't think it's Markel's fault. But try playing Markeel with the starters, and I think you'll have a better outcome, in my opinion, because I do think that he's good enough to amplify some of those guys. But hey, man, if you're playing point Scotty, you really don't need Markeel. But maybe Markeel is the type of off-ball guard who can slash around Scotty and be the secondary playmaker that you desperately need next to Scotty. I would love to see those. I would like to see Darko just try Markeel with Scotty before giving up on him. Because I think with Scotty, it's a very different outcome than without Scotty. Jordan Poole came off the bench, 3 for 12, typical Jordan Poole game, total chucking game. The Raptors lost him multiple times. Scotty Barnes just gave up. The only 2 bad plays from Scotty defensively tonight. One was losing Jordan Poole on a curl to the basket where Jordan Poole relocates to the corner. Scotty waves him off and just says, I'm not going to bother like running out to this guy. And he proceeds to brick the shot, which is like lucky. The Raptors dodged the bullet there. Jordan Poole is definitely not a player you need to ignore in the corner. But I guess Scotty has spent so much time playing with shitty shooters that he's just like, fuck it, I'm not guarding anybody for 3. And Jordan Hawkins, my guy Jordan Hawkins, got him up 2 for 8 tonight, -2. He was largely positive, in my opinion, defensively, and he's not a good defender, so that's interesting. Brandon Ingram had a game from, I don't know, hell. I don't know how to explain it. 5 for 13. He had a couple good moments, but man, there was a stat released by NBA University, which I'll share with you just momentarily, which it talked about the worst defenders in the league in terms of half-court defenders, like in terms of net differential. Brandon Ingram was like seventh worst in the league, and the worst was DeMar DeRozan. So shout outs to Raptor fans who love aura farming, mid-range specialists who don't defend. RJ Barrett went 7 for 14 tonight with a team leading plus 26. He had 18 points. I did not love this game from RJ Barrett for a multitude of reasons, namely defensively, but also offensively. I just think his shot selection was kind of putrid. But nevertheless, this is far from the last game. The last game was horrible. This is a step up from horrible, but a step below good or competent basketball. He had defensive breakdowns left, right, and center. There was a lot of processing errors in transition, a couple of, miscommunications with his teammates where both guys are cutting to the same spot. He just feels like kind of off in his own planet right now. Jakob Poeltl with a very competent 9 for 11 performance from the field, everything easy, no resistance, 4 offensive rebounds, 18 points, 11 rebounds. I like this game from Jakob Poeltl very much. And Jacoby Walter finally freaking starting in that starting lineup over Jamal Shed, and I love it. 18 points, immediate return, 4 for 10 from 3, 6 for 14 from the field, a plus 22, and 4 assists to boot. Yeah, man. Get on the glass a little bit more. Sandro Mamukelashvili with a very energetic and frustrating ass game. 18 points and 9 rebounds is definitely nothing to sneeze at. And he had a lot of really big plays, like very big, loud plays. But I generally hated his process tonight. He looked off Scotty in the post to when Scotty had Jordan Poole multiple times sealed. Like, you can't do that. Like, I would bench your ass if you ever did that on my team. And it's really, it was just kind of crazy shot selection. A lot of, drives to the rim, which resulted in just heaves at the basket with 18 seconds left on the clock. And just like, what are you doing? So I think this was just a game where a lot of people felt very comfortable to explore their games, including Scotty, who threw a couple of really wild passes that were a little bit risky and dangerous. But I'll get into it tomorrow why I like those passes and why I hope that he throws more of them. Like, I was kind of hoping he'd have like 8, 9 turnovers tonight. Just keep trying shit, man. Here's the thing. When it comes to talented playmakers, especially young talented playmakers, and yes, at 24, I still consider Scotty a young talented playmaker who has limited reps playmaking at the NBA level. I want you to take a lot of turns with the basketball because it's the only way you're going to get better. LeBron had a ton of turnovers when he was young. Cade had a ton of turnovers, over the last few years. This is how you get better, by giving guys turns with the basketball. And I like that Scotty was given the chance to initiate in the middle of the break so many times tonight. And I love that he pushed it up and he pushed up the pace as much as he did. Jamal Shed with 0 points tonight, 0 for 4, but plus 13 with 8 assists. You might think that I hated this game from Jamal Shed, but I really didn't. The only thing I hated about Jamal Shed is sometimes he got massive tunnel vision when it came to passing to RJ. There were times where Scotty would be cutting to the basket and Jamal would just pass to RJ or Ingram on the other side of the corner, which was completely cramped. And I'm just like, why? Why do this? Right. So it was a frustrating elements of it, but he's also the guy who found Scotty rolling to the basket multiple times. He's the guy who threw the ball over when Scotty was missed by Sandro. So there's a lot to say about this, but overall, I think Jamal Shed was positive. I didn't love the Jamal Shed Scotty minutes as much as I liked the Scotty solo minutes without Jamal. And it's almost like Jamal is like a little security blanket for Darko at this point. Like, he's kind of like, it's weird for me, right? Because Davion Mitchell had this effect last year with with Darko as well. Dennis Schroeder had this effect. Darko is just obsessed with undersized, offensively disadvantaged point guards. Like, I don't know what it is. I don't know why it is. And I don't know who needs to talk to him about this, but he just does not feel comfortable with his offense if there isn't like a 6-foot Oompa Loompa out there basically trying to run the play. And I just don't get it. Like, there are so many teams in this league that go big all the time, and they're so successful. The 2 best teams in both conferences do not start a single player under 6'3". Can we take a lesson from the OKC Thunder and the Detroit Pistons and just say, okay, maybe Scotty is not the creator in the middle that Cade is or that Shea is, but none of these teams need a 6-foot Oompa Loompa who's offensively challenged. It's just a really stupid archetype of player, and it's not one that works. Like, after all the PTSD that I had with Nick Nurse and Fred VanVleet, to have to go through this shit with Darko and Davion, Darko and Dennis, Darko and Jamal now, Darko and IQ, and it's just like, what the fuck, man? Can we just embrace the idea that point guards don't have to be 6'2" and under? Can we just embrace the idea that Penny Hardaway and Grant Hill did not need point guards? LeBron did not need a traditional point guard with him. You never see a traditional point guard with LeBron James. You always saw a scoring guard, a combo guard. The closest thing to a traditional point guard was maybe Mario Chalmers, but that was not great. And that was out of necessity. If the Miami Heat had a progressive view towards basketball, they would have started LeBron at the 1, D Wade at the 2, or inverse that, D Wade and LeBron at the 1-2, and they would have put Shane Battier at the 3, or James Jones at the 3, or Mike Miller at the 3, Scotty or I was going to say Scotty. I was going to say Chris Bosh at the 4. And then maybe, shit, man. I'm going to tell you, if I was coaching those Miami Heat teams, Mike Miller and Shane Battier are starting at the 3-4. And Chris Bosh is starting at the 5. Like, I'm going super small, and I am running teams off the planet with that team. But no, we got to have Mario Chalmers and Joel Anthony out there because reasons. Basketball is so fundamentally misunderstood, even by people who pretend to be geniuses on the game. Anyways, team stats. Good to note that the Toronto Raptors shot 36%, which is right around league average from 3. And a lot of this is being kind of dragged down by some of the shit they did later in the game. 52% from the field, 72% from the line, which includes a lot. They win the rebounding battle. They give up 15 offensive rebounds, which I did not love. 36 assists on 48 field goals is music to my ears. 8 steals, 8 blocks, 14 turnovers, which matches the New Orleans Pelicans' 14 turnovers. I can't remember the last time I looked at one of these and the Raptors lost the points in the paint battle, but tonight they did lose the points in the paint battle by 2, 60-62. That's largely due to Zion and Derek Queen getting so many points in the paint. And the Raptors' largest lead was 22. They led for 97-98% of this game, and they did not look back. Like, this was a game for about 2 minutes, and then it was a blowout. And if you watch this game live, power to you. I think you had fun. Okay, let's get to the Scotty film breakdown, because this is really going to be a lot of Scotty Barnes. It's going to be so much of Scotty Barnes. And tomorrow's video is going to be about Scotty Barnes. I don't know what to tell you. He's a franchise player. I'm going to talk about him. Now, here's the net rating differential for every team's best player. At the top, you see Nikola Jokic, Giannis Antetokounmpo, Victor Wembanyama, and Kawhi Leonard. No surprises there. No surprises at all. Below that, you see Lauri Markkanen, Pascal Siakam, Michael Porter Jr., LaMelo Ball, Bam Adebayo. See, this is no surprise to me. With the exception of Bam and LaMelo, though, really how this stat works is how bad are your teammates and how good are you relative to your teammates. So players like Pascal Siakam, who are so clearly far and away their team's best players, they're going to have massive on-off swings, right? Because when you go off the court, your team goes from kind of okay to abysmally bad. That makes sense. When you have terrible backups, your numbers are going to look better, but your team is going to be worse, right? So the hardest thing to do is rank high on this list when your team is good. When your team is bad, it's not as hard to rank high on this list. And if you're kind of and your team is amazing, you're going to rank very low on this list. That's a good way to understand how net differential works. So right below Michael Porter Jr. at 9.3, plus 9.3, is Shai Gilgeous-Alexander at 8.1, Joel Embiid at 8.0, Scotty Barnes at 7.9, and I promise you after today, it's going to go up to about 8.1, and Luka Doncic at 7.8, Donovan Mitchell at 7.7, Devin Booker at 5.4. That is the end of that tier, and then we go down to Josh Giddey, 4.7, Steph Curry, 4.2, Cade Cunningham, plus 3.9, Zion Williamson, who we just saw tonight, plus 2.5, Denny Avdia, plus 2.1, Kevin Durant, plus 1.6, Cooper Flag, plus 1.3. That is the end of the positives. Alex Sarr's narrowly positive at plus 0.2. Then we get to Anthony Edwards, negative 0.3. Why is Anthony Edwards negative? I thought he was one of the best players in the league. He is one of the best players in the league. Unfortunately, 2 of his backups, or at least 2 guards that play on his team, are also incredible. And that's Ayo Dosunmu and Dante DiVincenzo. These are really good basketball players. And they're also much better than Ant defensively. And because his entire team is better than him defensively, pretty much Anthony Edwards has been one of the worst defenders in the league this year. Like, he's one of the worst starting defenders in the league, if that makes sense. Like, he's so far and away his team's worst starting defender. Him and Julius Randle just suck defensively. And then you have all these really great defenders around them. Like Rudy Gobert is one of the best defenders in the league. Jaden McDaniels, Ayo Dosunmu, Dante DiVincenzo. These are good defenders. So when you play on a team full of good defenders and you're a bad defender, or at least worse than your teammates, your net differential is going to suffer a lot. And I think Anthony Edwards is probably poorly represented on this list. Paolo Banchero, negative 0.5. This is no surprise. His teams have never been better with him on the court, and this is literally going back his entire career. John Morant, negative 0.6. He's fallen off a lot. He used to be so positive in the stat. Jalen Johnson, a guy that people tell me is better than Scottie Barnes. He's negative 0.8, and his team lost to the Jaylen Brown lists. Yes, no Jaylen Brown. Boston Celtics just whooped the hottest team in the Eastern Conference and did the Raptors a huge favor tonight. But why did Vegas have the Boston Celtics without Jaylen Brown favored by 4.5 games going into this game? Why was that the case? I'll tell you why that was the case. Because Jaylen Brown does not drive winning. Jaylen Brown gets stats. There's a big difference between those two things. The Boston Celtics are a good basketball team. Jaylen Brown is their leading scorer. Jaylen Brown is basically DeMar DeRozan on steroids with better defense. He's not driving winning for that team. Derek White drives winning for that team. And Derek White was playing. So obviously they were going to whoop the Atlanta Hawks, which they did by 7. Down that list, Jalen Brunson at a negative 1.1. Again, you don't provide value on defense. Your backups provide value on defense. You have so many good backups coming off the bench. Mitchell Robinson often comes off the bench. Miles McBride's one of the best defensive guards in the league. So naturally, Jalen Brunson is also going to get the ant penalty of negative 1.1. Then you have a guy that, shout out to Damien from the panel, told me was better than Scotty Barnes. The abysmal Sacramento Kings. Domantas Sabonis is negative 6.7 on that team. Yeah. And some people wanted to dump first-round picks for that guy. And then finally, at the very, very bottom, is Jaylen Brown of the Boston Celtics at a league worst among stars, negative 8.4. Hey, man. I tell you right now, Jaylen Brown is one of the most overrated basketball players I've ever seen in my life. You will never, ever find, ever, an MVP candidate who is negative anything in this stat. You're never going to see it. I implore you to try. Derrick Rose, positive. Kobe Bryant, when he won MVP, positive. These guys are all positive, even when they're inefficient, even when the league is not necessarily the strongest at the time, always positive. How the fuck can you be the MVP of the league and I find out that your team per 100 possessions is 8.9 points better without you? Sheesh. Insanity. Now, as you can tell by the title of this video, the content of this video, and literally my upbeat nature, I was very excited to find out that the Raptors would be starting Scotty Barnes at point guard. Although the broadcast was kind of confused by it, as if they had selective amnesia, because everything I heard prior to the game was the Raptors won't be starting a traditional point guard. Was the word traditional? Karen Hall, you can help me out. I don't think the word was traditional. Natural point guard. They won't be starting a natural point guard, traditional point. Anyways, the point is the Raptors have no point guard tonight. Sound the alarms. The Raptors have no point guard, but they actually do have a point guard. The guy's been playing point guard his whole fucking life. His Instagram bio says he's point guard. I say he's a point guard. I certainly know a hell of a lot more about basketball than you do. And, you know, hey, man, he's a pretty good point guard. So I said Scotty haters / flat earthers in shambles right now. This is one of the first plays of the game. Scotty Barnes sets the tone early here. Jacoby Walter sends the entry pass. Scotty has Jeremiah freaking Fears, a rookie who's 6'2", sealed. And here, Scotty is just going to take one dribble past him, and that is a poster. A poster on Yves Missi, a really good shot blocker, by the way. He got ups. A few moments later, literally, this is 5 seconds later, here comes Herb Jones, goes to the basket, tries to make a move on Brandon Ingram. Good job by Ingram to keep a hand up, allows Scotty Barnes to get back into the play, and that's the end of Herb Jones's night, pretty much. I asked, do you think Scotty Barnes watched the panel yesterday? Watch this poster on Yves Missi. Like, he got up on him. He really, really got up on him. Boom. He said, get out the way. Get some elevation. I said tonight's live is going to feed families. You have no idea how much shit I'm about to talk. I think I've been pretty tame at this point. I've been pretty tame. Now, watch this direction here. Everything is about RJ Barrett cutting middle right now, but instead, Scottie is sort of looking him off and looking to Brandon Ingram. And here at the last second, as Herb Jones, a very good defender, and Eve Misi, a very good defender, part like the Red Sea, ironically, their jerseys are Red Sea, and allow RJ Barrett for a wide open dunk. Here, Sandro Mamukelashvili is going to commit the cardinal sin. There we go. Karen saying no natural point guard. Okay, man. So Sandro Mamukelashvili, for whatever reason, cannot make this entry pass. He decides to drive instead. This is 16 seconds on the clock. I don't think Scottie should let him get away with this. I don't think Mamu should let himself get away with this. This is an opportunity to scram a double and then cut past the defender. Because the second this ball goes into Scotty Barnes, Mamu is going to have a wide open cut to the basket, as DeAndre Jordan naturally has to help out. You have Scotty Barnes being guarded by Jordan Poole, and you don't make the pass. I'm sorry. That's offensive. That's offensive to me. That's offensive to me, and that's offensive to my people. Here, AJ Lawson getting a few minutes. Now, if at first you don't succeed, try, and try again. Scotty Barnes continues to seal Jordan Poole. And here, Jamal Shed is going to send this over. And Scotty Barnes with the dunk. Perfect pass. Good job. Good job being persistent. I said, this is your play of the night. DeAndre Jordan. Now, there was a time in his life where DeAndre Jordan would have probably gotten 35 inches off the ground. But right now, he only gets about 18 to 20 inches off the ground. And he forgot that he was 37, 38 years old right now, because Colin Murray-Boyles goes up and blocks this in one of the craziest blocks. And Scotty Barnes is going to immediately run it down the throat of the defense. Pause. And here, RJ Barrett gets 2 more really easy points. Once again, I do like to talk about sometimes I like to think about who couldn't make this play and who could make this play. There is not a wing in this league who cannot make the 2 points that RJ Barrett did. Unless, of course, they're missing a hand. Scotty Barnes made this as easy as humanly possible. And we've seen this multiple times already with RJ Barrett, where he's just getting easy baskets. But again, RJ Barrett is not I said this yesterday. Actually, I said this today, that there's masters and servants within this offense, and that RJ is a master and that Scotty is a servant within this offense. I don't want to dig too deeply into the at Pensare read above. Foltz is eligible. Wait, did y'all say that Immanuel Quickley's out for 6 weeks? Oh, that's amazing. So if this is in fact true, that means Markeel Foltz can be on the playoff roster, which I would really very much appreciate. Also, Markeel has some pre-existing relationships on this team, which I'm not at liberty to share, but there are a few players on this team that actually know him and probably would vouch for him to get some minutes. Unfortunately, his audition so far has not gone so great, but if he is in fact eligible, that's awesome news. And then I'll have to correct my take on the panel, because I did say on the panel that he's not eligible to be on the playoff roster, because previously the cutoff date for a playoff roster spot was March 15th, and the Raptors signed him after that. But maybe they signed him after that knowing that he was already within their system and that he hadn't played for an NBA team. The last time Markeel played for an NBA team was last year with the Sacramento Kings. Anyways, I look at a play like this and I'm just like, RJ is just a recipient of easy baskets, right? Now here I say, Scotty is sending Darko a message. Watch this. That is such an easy play for any wing. You don't need RJ Barrett at all. Jacoby Walter can do functionally everything that RJ does off the ball easily, with the one difference that he can actually shoot. And the other difference being he can actually defend. And the other difference being he's not a ball hog. So, I mean, the idea is that I've been asking for Jacoby Walter to be the starter on this team for about 2 years now. Like, we're going back to his rookie injury. Okay, let's not be crazy here. I have never prayed for a player to get injured. I don't think I've actually, I have prayed for a player to get injured, but that's a player that I was playing against who was talking shit to me. I prayed for that player to get injured back at OFSA, but I've never prayed for an NBA player to get injured. I would never do that. So yeah, like, it's just let's not go there, right? Like, that's crazy. I was praying for him to get benched. Does that count? Okay. Uh, I said Scotty Barnes is just, this is such a Magic Johnson-esque pass. Here's what I would like you to focus on the next time Scotty runs point. I would like you to focus on the look of sheer bewilderment on the defensive face. Like, when the defense, like, there was a play that Scotty made a brilliant pass over the defense that the broadcast did not show because they were too busy looking at Karlo Matkovic for some fucking reason whatsoever. Doesn't even play on our fucking team. But this idiotic broadcast run by God knows who decided a close-up of Karlo Matkovic was more important than a pass by Scottie Barnes, which speaks to a couple of things. Number one, a lot was said in that play. Number one, the footage is lost because they never re-showed the pass, and it was apparently a really great pass. I got a text from somebody who was like, "Did you see that pass?" And I was like, "Fuck, the broadcast missed it." So two things are true. One, the broadcast was focused on Karlo Matkovic because there was no way that the Raptors offense was going to start that fast. The fact that it started that fast is a testament to Scotty. The second thing is because it was close up on Matkovic, you actually see his face as the pass goes over, and he's genuinely shocked. Like, wait, what? And he darts. And that's funny. So it's like, here you see, look at the defense's face. Everyone is geared in on Scottie Barnes. No one on the Pelicans is looking to Jakob Poeltl. And here, Jakob ahead of the play. This is such a simple play, but because of the manipulation with the eyes, there's an extra flair to it. And a lot of people don't seem to understand that playing with a certain verve and flair and showmanship, it gets the crowd into the game, right? And the crowd gets into the game, the players get into the game. You get the energy up, you get your teammates' energy up. See, there's sort of like a pedantic, boring basketball style with the Quickley, like, that's not very exciting. Like, I speak as a basketball player who never ever even came close to achieving the level of Division I hoops or NBA or professional EuroLeague contracts. But I say this as someone who has played basketball. I hated playing basketball with players like Quickley. I loved playing basketball with players like Scottie Barnes. Loved it. Because I was not some great passer by any means. But man, I loved playing with great passers. I always remember playing with this guy at the park. In Scarborough. And this guy was stupidly old, but he would come and play with the big boys. Like, he was playing at the big court. Sometimes in those, shout out to you guys if you play basketball. There's like 4 courts at the basketball court, and everyone knows where's the serious runs, and then where's like the play runs, and then there's where it's like the jokers play, and then where's the kids play, right? Those are like the 4 courts at most basketball courts. If you have 6 courts, you might have 2 serious courts. We had 1 serious court, and you basically were like, if you were bad, they would kill you. Like, they would hurt you to even try to get on that run, right? They would stomp you out 11-0. You get hard fouls. You get pushed coming to the basket because they don't like, they would lie about how many points were scored. They just didn't like bullshit basketball players playing in those runs. And I remember one time we had a few guys out. So we asked this guy from the other side, because I was doing some scouting, and this guy was playing on kind of a bullshit run, but he was older. He was Chinese. He was a Chinese guy, or he was Chinese from Jamaica. Like, he was Asian guy from Jamaica. I don't want to say he's Chinese. He said he like had Chinese heritage, but he's an Asian guy from Jamaica. And this guy had a knee brace, bro. He was like Hakeem Olajuwon knee brace. He was maybe maximum 6'1", max. And all this guy would do is literally stand in the mid block, and he would just play make. And if you didn't respond to him properly, he'd give you like a little left jump hook. He was stupidly limited. He was a massive defensive liability, couldn't guard anybody in space, but he was so fucking intelligent. Dude, I loved playing with this guy. We ran off 4 wins straight against bigger, better players. All these guys that we're playing up against were playing at Seneca and like shit. And we had this old Asian guy. We ran our whole offense through him precisely because he never missed. He never missed. Anytime I got open, boom, pass right in my pocket. Easiest shots I ever hit in my life. I always think about playing with that guy, and I think about like all the players that I play with in my life that remind me of Scotty Barnes. And again, this not Scotty Barnes. Yeah, okay, fine. But I think to myself as a guard, if I played with Scotty Barnes, the first thing I would do in every single possession is make sure that he got a touch. I would always think about that because I would know that him getting a touch probably meant that I was going to get an open shot. And it behooves me. It drives me fucking crazy that we have an entire team of people, half of which don't understand this very basic concept. Get the man a touch, you're going to get it back. You should love playing with players like this. It should drive you crazy to play with players like RJ Barrett. Yo, I hated playing with players like RJ Barrett, man. We won a lot, but fuck, I hated it. I hated running back on defense. I hated covering for them every time they got blown by. I hated their shitty ass attitude, how they would like start to sulk every single time they didn't get the ball 2 times. If you've ever wondered why the epitome of this channel is so much about selflessness in basketball and team concept, it's because I hated playing with players like this growing up. I hated those ping, 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 dribble, 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 dumbasses. I hated playing basketball like that, yo. It's the worst type of basketball. It's so predictable. Everybody gears up. But of course, once in a while, you have a teammate who's stupidly like Javon Shepherd. You play with Javon Shepherd or DeVoe Joseph. Like if one of those guys are on one of your runs, yeah, I mean, you know, you'd be kind of stupid not to give him the ball. If Corey Joseph was on your run, like you'd be dumb not to because, like, I mean, they draw so much attention. They're so talented. But man, if you're not on that level, and again, those guys at that level playing against like regular Joes who play basketball in high school, yeah, they're going to destroy them. But even those guys, when they get up to like EuroLeague levels, they can't play that way. You should never want to play basketball this way. And it drives me crazy that we brought this fucking European coach to teach these guys how to play basketball, and they revert right back to the AAU bullshit basketball that I have sworn my entire life is bad for basketball. So you know what? If nothing else I loved about this game, it's that everybody ate. That's what Scotty said at the post game. Everybody eats. That's what you love, man. Everybody eats. And look at this high motor defensive effort. Oh, you know what? I think sometimes Scotty soft quits on his team. I'm gonna be honest. I know that's not a positive thing I'm saying about my favorite player, but I feel it. Sometimes if you look him off 3-4 times, he won't. He just fucking gives up. He just like, fuck this. Like he's not gonna keep going crazy. All right, let's do this. Okay. Now, Scotty had 13 points in the third quarter, and it started like a little bit like this. Jacoby clears out. It's a little bit of a brush screen here, and then Jeremiah Fears has no chance to contest this shot. I just want to show you what would happen in a situation like this. When you run Scotty as the 4-5 and you run a guard screen like this, what you end up with is a switch. And most guards are this close to guarding Scotty, which is to say they're not close to guarding Scotty. Like he sees this is an open shot. Do you understand? This dude is too small, and he's a very good athlete. Jeremiah Fears is by no means small by NBA standards. He's 6'2", he has long arms, he's athletic, but he can't guard this. Most guards cannot guard a Scotty Barnes jump shot. Most wings can't guard a Scotty Barnes jump shot. Look at this. How do you stop this shit? Boom. Fade away. Let's go. Re-signed from 905, still developing, not ready yet. Wait a second. What? We signed him? We don't have a roster spot to sign him unless we let go of Markeel. Can you let me know what you mean by this? I would very much appreciate it. Okay. Again, I have no idea how you're supposed to stop that. This is a really interesting play. So Scottie is looking for the basketball right here. You can see it. He's looking back at Jacoby like, give me the ball. Now, Jacoby, who I love Jacoby, by the way. And I just want to let y'all know next Friday, I'm actually interviewing Jacoby's trainer. It's going to be live. It's probably going to be around 11 o'clock in the morning. So, uh, you know, oh, that's cool. That's good. Shout outs to him, man. Shout outs to Angel Reese. Shout outs to her brother. Um, I don't think he's an NBA player, man. I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't think he's an NBA player, but hey, power to him. Good rebounder. So here, Jacoby misses Scottie, and this is a mistake. But a lot of times when his teammates miss him, he kind of quits on the play. Like he'll just go into the corner and just say, okay, y'all got it. He just has an attitude to him, right? Here, he doesn't do that. And I really appreciate it because I think, and again, this is me interpreting shit. Don't take this as gospel. This is not me reporting anything. I think Scottie generally likes Jacoby Walter. Like I get that from how they talk to how they communicate on the court. By the way, first guy to say Scottie Barnes did not like Fred VanVleet was me. So like, yes, I watch this shit very carefully. And yes, there's sometimes little murmurs and shit that I hear. So I'm just gonna say I think Scottie really likes Jacoby. I think he loves playing with him. You'll see he'll always look for him. They always, they always huddle up. They're usually talking to each other on the bench. So I think he genuinely likes him. So I think this is forgiven almost immediately. Like he's just like, okay, he didn't pass to me, but it's okay. I'm gonna give him another chance. And here you see it. Jacoby sends this pass right away to Scottie, and Scottie right away makes this pass away from the defense. Now, this is so important here, and how easily this could be a turnover from a lesser player. You see the defender gapping into this. If you throw this directly to Yak, this is going to be a turnover. Notice Scottie does not throw this directly to Yak. In that moment's instance, he still has the presence of mind to know to throw it away from the defense and lead Jakob closer to the basket. And these are the small, subtle things that we'll break down tomorrow in all of Scottie's passes. Because again, I heard on the panel a very smart basketball mind, Mars Talk Sports, tell me that he didn't think Scottie Barnes was as good a passer as Ben Simmons. And in tomorrow's episode, I'm going to prove that he is. And hopefully passes like this are part of that evidence, because it's just the small things that make someone a really great passer. And it's just small things like this. Okay, continuing on. I said tomorrow I'm going to make a video of every pass that Scottie Barnes threw. And it's just like, it's a lot of the passes he throws are just like, if the player was just a little bit better, it's 100% 2 points, right? Like this right here. Consider this. Now, freeze this spot right here. If this is a better athlete, if this is a more explosive athlete, if this is Vince Carter, if this is Kobe Bryant, if this is Dwayne Wade, this is 100% pass, right? This is 100% assist. But it doesn't have to be those guys. If this is even, if this is Zion Williamson, okay, let's go down the list. If this is Jaren Jackson, if this is Lauri Markkanen, if this is Cat, if this is Jalen Duren, like this is 100% assist. But because it's Jacoby Walter, unfortunately not the most explosive athlete at the rim, it's not. And he brings it down, and Derek and Herb Jones is able to strip it away, and the Raptors get nothing out of this. But I agree. I think Ben Simmons is an incredible passer. Incredible passer. Prime Ben Simmons didn't play off the ball, and that's exactly it. Those assist numbers, dude, if you gave Scottie someone as good as Joel Embiid, as much as I hate Joel Embiid, I cannot tell you, there's not 5 players in the league that I despise more than Joel Embiid, just because I think he's such a trash competitor. But if you gave Scottie someone as good as Joel Embiid, he would get 10 assists a night immediately. Just immediately. There's no doubt in my mind, if you give him a player that good and that good a ball handler, finisher, whatever, that he would get those kind of passes every single time. Now, this I really, really loved. Here's a little bit of dribble manipulation and playing with the defender on your hip. This is the stuff that I think gets past the, like, there's levels to offensive creation that you want to talk about. Like, there's straight pull-up jump shooting. There's one-step pull-ups. There's two-step pull-ups, two dribble pull-ups. There's There's post ups, there's turnaround middies and stuff like that, right? Then, of course, there's catch and shoot looks and stuff like that. There's many, many ways to score. There's transition looks, there's roll looks, there's cut looks. Okay, fine. I think the most impressive and perhaps rarest basketball skills are playing with the defender on your hip, manipulating the second defender, and then dealing with the help. And I think Scotty is going to give you a little vision into what that could look like on this play. So watch this setup by the Pelicans. I think they do a pretty good job of kind of walling off the middle, kind of like how teams attack Giannis, right? But Scotty is going to take this defender who is this is a lot of size. You've got Derek Queen on your hip. You've got DeAndre Jordan. So you got two defenders on you. Now, if at this point, in most cases, Scotty is just going to pass back to Mamu. But Mamu was a little bit cold at this point. And so, you don't have Jamal Shed as a threat. Mamu is a threat, but Derek Queen is he's a very active, let's call it active rookie. He doesn't want to commit. So here, everyone's thinking, let's force a turnover here. And in most cases like this, Scotty is going to pass out. Like, he's drawn the double team. He thinks he's done his job. But here, Scotty's going to do something different. He plays with Queen on his hip. And here, knowing that this is DeAndre Jordan, he's not going to be able to recover. If I just take that step to the side, I'm going to get a clean shot. And look at the elevation, extension, and form on that jump shot. And ask yourself the question, could Ben Simmons ever do this? Bump, take one near 7-footer on your back. You have number 3, which is Jordan Poole, kind of in your way. And you manipulate 3 not so great defenders by taking a pull-up fadeaway jump shot. Do you know who used to do that a lot? One of my favorite players of all time. His name is Michael Jeffrey Jordan. That's basically like Kawhi Leonard, Michael Jordan pull-up jump shot. It frustrates me so much to have conversations like this on the panel because it's like they swear he can't do this shit. I've seen him do this against great defenders. I've seen him do this against Jason Tatum. I've seen him do this against OG Anunoby. It's just not a matter of, the defender stopped Scotty Barnes. The only defender who stops Scotty Barnes is Scotty Barnes and his own teammates. Those are the people stopping him right now. It's not the other team. You need to worry about that. As I said, unguardable. This is unguardable. The extension he gets on this jump shot is unguardable. Karlo Matkovic is a good defender. I just want to let y'all know that. Karlo Matkovic is a good defender. He's a reasonable defender. He gets a very, very good contest on this shot. But Scotty Barnes is just too big. He's too big for a 6'8" small forward. So that's the point. Now, this is just showing off at this point. This is Scotty Barnes just having too much fun. Here, Scotty sees this situation. Once again, we have a double big situation here. DeAndre Jordan and Derek Queen, neither of whom is a great defender at this point, but both of whom have long arms and present considerable size here. Scotty takes the bump from Queen. Queen does not contest beyond the bump, and Scotty is able to just smoothly put that up. Watch that again. Boom, boom, boom. Take the bump, elevate, nice touch, makes the shot. What are they going to say now? Now, for the first non-Scotty Barnes play, you could already guess this is going to be a negative play. Sorry, not sorry. Okay, this is stupid to me. RJ Barrett has Derek Queen on an island. Now, we just watched Scotty attack Derek Queen on an island multiple times, and I am told by many people in the Raptors community that Scotty Barnes has no offensive bag and that RJ Barrett is a better offensive player than him. But I want you to see how Scotty attacked that same situation and how RJ attacks a similar situation with similar personnel on the court. Again, Jordan Hawkins is no one's definition of a good defender. And so it's not Jacoby. It's Jacoby's trainer. So it is Eric. I'm not interviewing Jacoby. So here, RJ Barrett, little shift, bing, 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 bullshit basketball. And here exposes the ball just enough. And that's a clean rip. And Derek Queen can do that. Derek Queen may not be a great defender by any means, but there are those Nikola Jokic comparisons do not draw themselves. He does have very good hand-eye coordination, and you expose the ball enough. And I tell you, this sometimes comes down to an anchoring bias. If the same thing happened to Scotty Barnes, how do you feel people would talk about it? Oh, I can't believe it. He has no handle. He got shut down by Derek Queen. Oh my God, Derek Queen's a rookie. Scotty has no bag. This is the guy you call a franchise player? But when it happens to RJ, I hear nothing. Crickets. And this is the part of this play that really pissed me off. A take foul. Why? That's just a frustration foul. You're not having a good night, so you got to take that take foul. But you know what's interesting? Scotty Barnes is really happy when his team is up 20 and he has 3 points. But some of his teammates are not happy up 30 or 20 points when they have shot poorly at, from the field. And I think that kind of gives you a frame of reference in terms of like what your goals are. I'm going to be honest. As a player, if I'm shooting 2 for 10 and my team is up 35, you're going to see nothing but smiles from me. If I'm shooting 8 for 12 and my team is down 10, I'm going to be fucking pissed. Because at the end of the day, this is a team sport and the individual stuff is kind of irrelevant to me. It's just sad. Another non-Scotty play starts with an RJ brick. And here, this is very impressive, but also very poor discipline by Derek Queen. And look at this nice little putback dunk. Gets stuffed at the rim and then boom, put back. You know, it's funny. Uh, Sandro Mamukelashvili was not the only Raptors big to get stuffed at the rim tonight. There was a play where Jakob Poeltl got stuffed at the rim. Yikes. Okay, this is one of my favorite plays of the night, and this does not result in a Scotty assist, but I want to show you something really cool that Scotty does here. So here, once again, we have Karlo Markovic, as I've mentioned before, pretty good defender. And Scotty is going to take him off the dribble here. Nice little, nope, don't want to do it. Okay, cool. Pass off, dribble handoff to Jacoby Walter, sets the screen on Jeremiah Fears, gets the ball back. Here, now, there's multiple options here. Scotty sees, there's 3 options. I froze it here for a reason because I think we need to learn something right now. Option number 1 is to throw the ball to Jakob Poeltl. It's risky because there is a defender in the way who has long arms, and there's a chance that this could be fumbled. The spacing is kind of not great. Option number 2 is to throw the ball to the corner to Brandon Ingram. Option number 3 is to just take the shot yourself. There is, however, a 4th option that I don't think most people see right now. Right? Everybody is focused on Scottie Barnes. But you can see Zion is leaning towards Ingram. Can you see that? You can see his body language is completely leaning. And again, if you're a supercomputer like Scottie Barnes, you can see where the defense is leaning. You can sort of just sense from the court, where is the help going to be a second from when I throw this pass? And so Scotty is looking at Ingram in the corner. He's looking off Jakob, trying to wait this play out to see if Jakob breaks free. When Jakob does not break free, Scotty immediately goes and you notice, like, watch this. Just watch the slow motion on this because I think you need to watch this in slow motion. So Ashley has the right idea here. So there's two Pelicans defenders that are going to dictate what Scotty does because he doesn't pre-script himself. He has no bias. He's not like, oh, I'm looking for Jakob on this play, or I'm looking for Jamal on this play, or I'm looking for BI on this play. Scotty is the least biased basketball player on this team, period. He does not care who you are. He will pass to you. If you're wearing a Raptors jersey and you're open, Scotty Barnes will find you. So here, you see this fake. He considers making this pass to Yak. Considers it. But the second the defense closes off, you see Zion leaning towards Ingram. And so Scotty is going to make this pass over the defense through the hands of Matkovic to Shed. And Shed, who is a notoriously bad defender, is going to pass to Ingram. And Ingram is relatively shot ready, not perfect. And by the time Saddiq Bey closes out to Ingram, it's an open 3. So again, it goes from this to this to this to this to this. Wait. To this to this to this to this. Yes, Zion is a terrible defender. Like, I mean, he's not terrible, but he's not great. He's not a great defender by any means. He has certain strengths as a defender. He's by no means at the bottom of the league as a defender. He's not even as bad as is he as bad as Anthony Edwards? They're in the same tier. They both have strengths and weaknesses. Like, he's a good post defender. He's not necessarily the most switchable. He's lost a lot of weight. So again, this is how you get an open three. But again, so many passers would make this pass to Ingram, and I got to tell you, I would have made this pass to Ingram. Once again, I am not a good passer, so I just want to throw that out there. I would make this. I would probably have a turnover here, but the pass to Ingram is the wrong pass. It's the wrong pass. From a purely basketball analytics perspective, the pass to Shed is the correct pass, because the pass to Shed is a wide open drive or a wide open shot. It's the open shot, and Zion, for whatever reason, just not communicating. And here, Sadiq he can't close out in time, because again, when you draw the double, you've done your work. Scotty takes, how many defenders does Scotty have on him here? Hold on, let's see here. Just one defender. But here, we start to see a miscommunication with Matkovic. And you have Zion splitting two. And that is where the miscommunication comes from. When Matkovic gets completely crossed up here, Sadiq has to get out to Ingram. And because Sadiq does not get out to Ingram, it creates the wide open shot. Anyways, that was one of my favorite passes of the night, just because I think it required a little bit of complex thought process and exploiting the defensive coverage. And here, let's take the one positive play that Markeel had tonight and just call it a day. Here, nice little cross, little bump, and that broken-ass jump shot. Shout outs to Markeel Foltz. Shout outs to the Toronto Raptors. We won, baby. We won. They won. We watched. But we watched a team play good, connected team basketball. And I love that. And I hope the Raptors do more of that. I do not know how much time Immanuel Quickley is going to miss. But if he misses multiple weeks, maybe you found something with Scotty Barnes at point guard. I'm actually curious. I had a post earlier where I said somebody from the Raptors media, and I tagged a whole bunch of people in the Raptors media that I've actually talked to before. And I said, hey, like, can you guys ask Darko about the Scotty at point thing? Because I'm really glad the broadcast brought it up as often as they did. Because, again, like, this is something we need to talk about. This is clearly something we're going to need to talk about. We need to talk about Scotty Barnes at point guard. We need to talk about this being a thing. We need to talk about, like, why do we have such an aversion to this, right? Okay, let's see here. Wait, what the fuck? Hello and welcome is doing a Blue Jays corner right now? Sorry, I'm just looking on YouTube. My bad. Okay. Okay, let me see if the post game is up. Presser. Yes, sir. We got Scotty Barnes and we got Darko Rajakovic. Okay, so hold up. Let me just see. Oh no, never mind. We got we got Scotty and Darko. So this is let's get it. Hang on one second. You know what? Give me. Okay. I apologize. Technical difficulties. Here we go.
Offered the performance defensively by your guys tonight.
This was obviously important game for us. I mean, they're all important, but landing last night at 7 p.m. over here and playing late game tonight, you need to bring a lot of energy. And our guys did really good job today of showing up with energy and playing through fatigue and really focusing on the defensive side of the ball and controlling things there. We started the game really well. We did outstanding job in that second quarter. So I'm really, really proud of our defensive effort. Even in the third quarter until like 2 minutes mark when we sub guys, our defense was very, very solid. And starting with defense, that fuels our offense.
kind of a nice thing to be able to rely on Scotty Barnes as a point guard when you're a little short-handed there?
I mean, I'm just waiting for the day when Scotty's going to tell me, Coach, this is too much. I've been asking him to do play 3, play 4, play point guard, play 5-man, go guard point guard, go guard 5-man. Like, we're like he's just going to do everything what he needs to do to help the team and to win the game.
That is Scotty's biggest flaw. He needs to go to the coaching staff. Dear Scotty Barnes, if you ever watch this, listen to me and listen to me well, my friend. Go to the coach tomorrow and say, if I'm not playing point guard on this team on opening night next year, I want to trade. That's simple. That's it. That's how you get shit done. If you want to be a star player who wins basketball games, you're going to have to start pulling some fucking weight within the front office. Stop letting this team bullshit. I'm just going to say it. Sorry. Sorry, not sorry. That's what I'm going to say.
Outstanding game today. 3 block shots, 12 assists, 7 rebounds. He did a really good job. Well, 4 turnovers, he can do better there. But really complete game.
Oh, shut up. Like, seriously, shut the hell up. Look, I want to be nice to Darko Rajovic. I love Darko, but please shut the fuck up about this 4 turnovers bullshit. Like, okay, a couple were like a little long, but they were really good ideas. All of them were good ideas. They were wide open passes. They were a little bit long. These are complicated passes. These are on the move, moving target. He's moving, the target's moving. One of the turnovers that he had was because RJ Barrett got fouled cutting to the basket. He got held. And the ref missed it. So Scotty gets a turnover passing to where RJ is supposed to be. That's one turnover. One of the turnovers was simply the ball rolled out of someone's hands. Like, for the number of complicated passes he threw tonight, to be even talking about turnovers is such a fucking indication of the stupidity that this man sometimes plays with. Because I'm going to tell you right now, and I don't mean to come at Darko too hard, but his aversion to turnovers is such a stupidity, in my opinion. It is, like, I understand turnovers are bad. Don't get me wrong. I know turnovers are bad, dude. But you know what's worse than a turnover? Completely missing wide open offensive opportunities time and time again because you have a point guard who is too timid to throw the fucking pass. You must take chances. Any fucking basketball expert, any coach who's worth their weight in salt will tell you not all turnovers are created equal. So why don't you stop looking at the box score, dear Darko Rajovic? Stop looking at the box score and say, oh, 4 turnovers. You can do better than that. We can all agree that one or 2 of those turnovers are probably a little excessive. But 4 turnovers to 12 assists is a 3-to-1 turnover ratio. That's not bad. 3-to-1. 3-to-1. But dude, it's like watching Jose Calderon versus Kyle Lowry. Jose was an assist farming legend. And we had coaches who were just like, oh, but he takes care of the ball. Yeah, he also doesn't take chances. You don't want playmakers who don't take chances. It's very stupid. This is a very stupid comment by Darko Rajovic. In light of the game that Scotty played, to be harping on 4 turnovers is actually quite sad.
And from Scotty today.
What makes him able to manage the ball handling and distribution from a point guard?
He's played point guard his whole life. How's that? Do your job, Grange.
Even like he hasn't really done it at all this season. We've seen it in the past.
No, I think he's first of all he's a pass first player. He likes to pass. He likes to find his teammates.
His trainer would explicitly disagree with the concept of pass first. He is a right play player, which means if the right play is him scoring, he will score. And if the right play is him looking for his teammates, he will find them. Unfortunately, what Scotty doesn't realize is that a lot of his teammates are open for a reason, but he keeps passing to them because he wants to be a good guy and he wants to be a good teammate. But the minute he has better teammates and those teammates are actually covered, he will go into his scoring bag. You just don't get it. It's fundamental misunderstanding of your own player is sad.
Exceptional in transition. We were getting stops early in the game and he was really with the ball and pushing the ball in transition, and all he does is like he's scanning the floor, and it really allows him with his size and his athletic ability to play over the top of defense. So that was something that he does on an exceptional level.
What goes into the decision to start him and Jacoby rather instead of Jamal again?
I mean, right now we're down to just Jamal as our point guard who is on the roster. We that's why we brought Markeel as well to help us out over here. And unfortunately, with Immanuel's injury, I think it helps.
Okay, so I want to just, Brian, if you're still watching, I promise the rest of this live was not me screaming at Darko for being stupid. But yeah, like, I mean, I just think it's stupid to harp on 4 turnovers when you have a game like this. And as for the question, thanks a lot for the super chat, by the way, as always. Where's the hat? Honestly, I ditched the hat. I'm gonna tell you why. Hold on. I interrupt this coaching session to explain to you why I've ditched the hat. For like the last 2 years, my face has been swelling because I've been having a cortisol problem. I don't know. Some people can tell, some people can't. I mean, it kind of depends on how actively you watch my face. But yeah, man, like I've had really a lot of puffing in my cheeks. And a lot of people be like, why is Ben always wearing a hat? And people assume it's because I'm losing my hair. No, it's not because I'm losing my hair. It's because my face was filling up with fluid and I didn't know how to get rid of it. And I didn't know what was happening to my face. So I just, I decided to hide. I don't know. But yeah, like the last couple of weeks, face slimming out a little bit, fluid removing from my face a little bit. It's a lymph problem. So it's like a lymph fluid problem when you don't move around enough, or you have like super, super, super high stress situations come up in your life. Your face can sometimes get really puffy. So yeah, I haven't been wearing a hat for the last 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. It's been 5 days now. I don't wear hats. I'm not wearing hats right now. I might go back to it, but a lot of people have been saying that I feel a lot easier to connect to without the hat. And I've kind of been noticing the numbers been going up a little bit without the hat. So I think I'm just going to stick without the hat. That's where I'm at. Anyways, back to Darko. Shout outs to you, sir, as always, for the super chat. It's kind of interesting. I brought you up like right when you sent that. Thanks for that. Yeah.
Jamal is really good with our guys, with our second unit. He has a chemistry there. CMB checks in, Sandro checks.
Bro, you already know it's no cap, right? We already know that. It's no cap. There's no cap here. It's straight truth.
He knows how to play with those guys, and that was the main reason they're trying to bring him off the bench. Obviously,
yo, about the no Puma sponsor. Yo, Puma had their chance. I wore a Puma cap for like 4 years. They didn't give me no sponsorship, so fuck them. At this point, burn my bridges with the potential Puma sponsorship. Although, in fairness, I never really reached out to them. I probably should have. Yo, chat, can you let me know? Should I put my Puma cap, the one that I've been wearing for 3 years as I grew this channel from 0 subscribers to like all these subscribers? Should I put that Puma hat on? Should I put that Puma hat on eBay? Would somebody crazy out there, like, do I have some sort of crazy ass super fan that would pay like $300-400 for a Puma? Am I thinking even low? Can we go higher than $300-400 for that cap? Oh, new nickname, no cap. You should. I don't know. We'll see.
He's gonna play important minutes and heavy minutes for us, and I think that him coming off the bench gave us extra spurt of juice and energy on defensive end.
Of course, you would compliment the undersized point guard coming off the bench.
And the way Jacoby's been playing, I think, give you confidence to play him with the starters as well, right?
Yeah.
Jacoby is a starter. I don't give a shit what you have to tell me. There's no way that you watched basketball for like the last month and think Jacoby is not one of the 5 best players on this team. Like, you have to be special.
Yes, I think that he's doing it two-way. He did a really good job defensively, pressuring the ball. He really set the tone on Jeremiah Fears tonight, and he's just like shooting the ball really well. He's good outlet for us, and then whole team trusts him, and he plays so hard out. So there is not much you can object when he plays that hard.
It's been a while now that he's been shooting the ball really well. If this is like
stop.
I don't
Stop. Yeah, you just jinxed it.
If this is who he
If he misses the next shot, you owe me $100. All right.
What does it do for the offense though? If this is who he is now, like.
I think Darko's inner Balkan person just came out because he just said $100, and I swear to God, I would do the same thing. That's
The way he's been rolling.
He's putting a lot of work in, and he's a very young player in his second year in the league, and I think there is so much growth that needs to come his way, and that he's putting a lot of work to do that. You see how I answered that?
Sense of what happened with Colin and how his back is.
Yeah, he just got some back spasms there. He was not able, to come back and help us out in the second half. But I think he's going to be okay.
Scotty, I mean,
okay. I'm gonna risk the. Yo, okay. That's a choice. That's what you do when you play point guard. Now, actually, hold on. I got to do a callback. Hang on. I have a feeling Scotty did this on purpose, but let me just check this out for 1 sec. Hang on. I can't believe I'm going to be the only person who figured this shit out, but watch this. I need y'all to see this, because this is too big a coincidence for this to be a coincidence. Do y'all know where I'm about to go with this? Do y'all even understand where I'm about to go with this? Hang on 1 sec. Let me show you what I mean. Fuck. Hang on. I promise this is not a coincidence that he wore this coat. Hang on. Watch this. Y'all let me know if I'm overthinking this. Okay? Because this is certainly a choice. Okay. Where we at? Okay. Y'all see that? Okay. Hey, bro, you got it. Don't even tell me that I'm the only person who noticed this shit. Right? Chat, let me know. Am I tripping? Am I crazy? Anyways, take it away, Scotty/Magic Johnson.
when you get these opportunities, or when they need you to take these reps at point guard, what's your mindset going into that?
Just go in the game, try to do what I can do. Play fast, play with pace. It's really pretty much my mindset. How can we get up the court as fast as possible and still have a good offense? Be able to get into the next action. If we don't got nothing, find the next thing that we can do to have all our pieces on the floor moving.
Enjoy it?
Yes, for sure. I always think of myself as a point guard, but, just do whatever I can do out there on the floor. I do it all.
What's Jacoby's kind of
Wait. Let's say it again for the people in the cheap seats.
what's
Whatever I can do out there on the floor. I do it all.
what's Jacoby's kind of breakout these last few weeks?
But, just do whatever. For sure. I always think of myself as a point guard, but, just do whatever I can do out there on the floor. I do it all.
What's Jacoby's kind of breakout these last few weeks meant to you guys? But obviously, he's a two-way player, but what he said shooting the ball, what's it meant to you offensively the last couple of weeks?
Yeah, we all know he's been great defensively for us, being able to ball pressure, put pressure on the ball, turning guys. I think we see going on runs and we'll be able to get traps and run out in transition. But his shooting is just something that we need on our team, and he's been on fire. Every shot he takes, it looks like it's going in. But it's just been super important for our team. Sometimes we get in these rough stretches where we're not making shots, but, we can count on him to be able to play defense and make shots. So it's hard to get off the floor when you're making shots and you're playing defense for us. So, he's proven that he should be on the floor.
Darko is just in here saying that everything that he's asked you to do this season, you've done. Like play any position, guard anyone.
And I need you to stop doing it, yo. You are a franchise player. Please stop doing whatever the hell they ask you to do. You're not a glorified role player. You're a two-time All-Star. Like, if you're a franchise player, like, okay, if you're a superstar, if you're LeBron James, you can pick your teammates. But if you're an all-star with no other serious all-stars on your team, and you're the team's past, present, future, you're like everything for your team, and you're your team's best player, you should be able to decide what position you start at, right? Does Scotty know this? Like, he just go up to Bobby Webster and be like, I'm starting at point guard next year, or you're sending me to Atlanta, or you're sending me to Lakers? Scotty's a better person than I am, man. I would not put up with this shit. Hey, Scotty, start at point guard. Hey, Scotty, start at small forward. Hey, Scotty, start at center. Hey, Scotty, guard power forwards. What the fuck? I'm not Draymond Green. Like, I'm sorry. This shit is fucking, like, I feel like this is why you need to. It's funny. Scotty say this thing, yesterday's price is not today's price. Yesterday's standards are not today's standards. Maybe at Montverde, you could ask him to do whatever the fuck you wanted him to do. Maybe at Florida State, you'd ask him to come off the bench, guard 1s, 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. Maybe as a rookie, you could be like, hey, Scotty, you're a rookie. Go guard 1s, go guard 5s, go guard 4s. But as a two-time All-Star, soon to be first-team All-Defense, soon to be third-team All-NBA, if he lets it, if you are point guard, be a point guard, man. And you know what? Here's the thing. I'm gonna get back to this for a second. Just give me 2 seconds to say this. On the panel on Thursday, Chill said that I was the reason, that my insistence that Scotty was that dude was the reason that they pushed back so hard. And I had to think about that for a second, and I had to readjust my own behavior and consider my own behavior, right? Because I was like, okay, am I bringing some unwarranted negative attention to my favorite player? Do I want to be participating in that? No, I would never want to do that. As a content creator, I am, obviously invested in making Pensare Basketball a good place for basketball insight and sharing my thoughts on the game with y'all and various players on the team, interviewing trainers, interviewing eventually players. That'd be cool. But obviously, as a Scotty fan, I want what's best for him, right? And I had to consider it. I'm like, maybe I should stop talking about him like he's a superstar until he earns that from everybody. Maybe I should stop talking about it. And then I was like, you know what? The next day I woke up and I was like, nah, I'm not going to stop talking like that. I'm not going to stop talking about him like he's a point guard, that he's a future face of the league, that he's an MVP candidate, that he's, a lockdown defender, that he's one of the 10, 12, 13 best players in the league, that he's every bit on the level of a Cade Cunningham, that he's cleared guys like Paolo. I'm not going to stop talking about that shit because somehow I feel like putting that out into the universe is going to create the energy that is going to make him that player. Can't let somebody settle for less. You cannot let them forget who they are. And while I do believe, whether I say a word or not, that he's going to get to where he's going to get to because he's a hard worker and he's stupidly talented and he's got good people around him and people who keep him grounded, I do believe that it's important that everybody in the world expect him to be that player. With great expectations, some people rise, some people fall, some people crumble, right? Ben Simmons crumbled. The expectations of being a franchise player crumbled him. The expectations of leading a franchise, being accountable, being a leader on and off the court, he crumbled. A lot of people crumble. But I believe that some people rise to the occasion. And I believe that Scotty Barnes is the type of person where if you tell him this is your offense, that is going to make him a better basketball player, not a worse basketball player. If you tell him this is your team, we go as you go, I think that's going to make him better because Scotty's a winner and he's a selfless player. And that's a good thing when you're talking about a team leader. You don't want to delay this too long, though. You don't want to let him self-conceptualize himself as a second option or a third option. You need him to constantly remember that, yes, Brandon Ingram is very talented. Yes, RJ Barrett is a former McDonald's All-American. Yes, Immanuel Quickley is a very good shooter. But you're that dude. And as long as I'm speaking on basketball and someone brings up Scotty Barnes, I'm always going to remind them that Scotty is that dude. I just don't know if he knows that he's that dude yet. But I definitely know he's that dude. And that's where I'm at.
Do you enjoy that challenge of having to take on a new role, every few nights, whether it's be sort of the point guard?
What a stupid way to think about this. Sorry, that's a dumb question.
Or guard a 5?
Yeah, it don't matter. No matter where I need to be on the floor, I'm gonna just try to do what I can to try to win the game. If it's guarding point guard, guarding the 5, playing point, playing the 4, no matter where I'm at on the floor, I'm just trying to help our team win.
Admirable, but it's just a wrong mentality. This guy, he would never. But at the same time, Magic Johnson is infamous or famous for playing the 5, or at least jumping center in the NBA Finals. And Magic was positionally versatile, but Magic never played off the ball in his prime. He would never let himself get removed away from the offense. There's this beautiful movie, y'all know it. It's called The Replacements with Keanu Reeves, where all the players in the NFL, they go on a strike, and Gene Hackman is entrusted to create this entire brand new team full of ragtag burnouts. And he gets Keanu Reeves as his point guard, Falco. And towards the end of the game, he says, winners want the ball. Yes, winners want the ball. Winners don't wait for the ball. Winners demand the basketball. Too often, Scotty Barnes, even tonight, even in a wonderful revelation game, just didn't want the ball. You have Jordan Poole. You have him sealed, but you're not, give it to me. You're not screaming at your teammates for not getting it to you. And it's interesting because as a rookie, he did give Fred VanVleet an earful for not getting him the ball. When the 5th time that he didn't get him the ball, he did give him an earful on that. But then suddenly, you're totally comfortable getting looked off by BI and RJ and IQ, like time and time and time again as you cut down the court. Like, you're just comfortable standing in the corner, getting like these shitty ass passes thrown at your ankles as you brick 3 after 3, as the whole world questions why you averaging 15, 16 points per game. No, man. There's an assertive 16 points and there's a passive 16 points. If the Raptors are going to be a good basketball team, it's going to have to go through Scotty. It's going to have to go through Scotty. What other coach would let or make Scotty run at point? Most of them. Most coaches would run this guy at point guard. I think most coaches that I've spoken to see him as a point guard. Most trainers I've talked to see him as, guard adjacent. He has yeah, me too. I've seen Scotty defer to fucking Malachi Flynn and Ochai Agbaji and Delano Banton. Again, I don't know if this guy knows how good he is. Straight up. I don't know if he knows how good he is. But the second he figures it out, it's going to be curtains for the league. And this guy's going to average 24, 25 points per game in his sleep. There's not a lot you can do with a player this big and this strong. I'm sorry. It's basketball, but dude, basketball is still physics. When your stride length is that wide and that long, and your shoulder strength is that sincerely good, and your touch is that good, and your playmaking is that good, and you have a little bit of your footwork figured out, and your handle is getting way better than people give it credit for, there's just not a lot that defenses can do, because he thinks this game faster than the defense can ever catch up to him. And so, yeah, I think maybe there's 4 or 5 coaches in the NBA that would just be very stubbornly against it, including his own coach right now, obviously. But most coaches would definitely run him at point. I feel most coaches would run him at point guard. Leonard Hamilton let him run point. Leonard Hamilton's a good basketball coach. Anyways, Marwin, what's up, man?
Hey Rob, how's it going?
Not bad, man. How are you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm happy with the win. It was a good game.
Mm-hmm.
To your point about the whole Scotty point guard thing, like I think something that I just didn't love today, as great as Scotty's game was today, and I loved every second of it. But I
Mhm.
will say that the Pels were sagging off him and going under screens every single time above the break. I would like to see Scotty take more threes. Like I get that he hasn't been shooting it at a great clip this season, but that's something that he's really gonna have to have at his game if he really wants to take it to the next level.
Mhm.
And there was a couple situations today where he probably should have pulled it, but then decided to really take it into the paint, shoot a mid range, or make a pass or whatever it was. So I think that that's something that really needs to happen.
Mhm.
And the other thing that I want to make a point of is I wonder how much of the passiveness that we see in Scotty today, whether like in instances where maybe he defers the ball to his teammates and his teammates make stupid decisions, whatever it is, I wonder how much patience he's going to have for this kind of stuff in the playoffs. Just because we've seen even this season in bigger games where you really need him to dial up, he's been completely locked in and is a lot less likely to defer to teammates he doesn't trust. So I wonder if come playoff time, that nice guy, teammate first, good vibes mentality is going to go out the window when you clearly need him to take over. Again, we haven't seen him play in the playoffs since his rookie season, but I wonder if I have faith that's going to happen because I think above all, Scotty wants to win.
Right. Well, I don't think that Scotty, from what I've heard from him talking about it, I don't think I've ever heard him take the in-season tournament all that seriously.
Mhm.
So I'm not too discouraged by what happened against New York. The team was totally decimated. He was allegedly a little bit hurt at the time as well. The teammate was decimated by injuries. So Ingram showed up. Scotty just really had a bad game against New York. The last playing game the Raptors played, which was against the Chicago Bulls, I don't think Scotty played great, but I also don't think he played badly. Like, he played a perfectly fine game.
Mhm.
I do like the only real game that we can really go in on and say that Scotty Barnes in the playoffs is his first game in 2022 before he got injured. And he
Against
was on the verge of a triple-double.
Yeah.
The energy did feel different in that game. And yes, there have been plenty of fourth quarters. Look, I certainly don't know Scotty Barnes, but I from watching him over the years, he seems to be someone who likes to test himself in situations to see if he can do things.
Mhm.
It's almost like he's, just a mad scientist. So sometimes he'll approach a matchup against a smaller player and he'll just try to figure it out. Kind of like very creative process. And sometimes he'll take over an entire quarter, or maybe like, look at a team like the Cavaliers, how he just pushed it down their throat and had 30 plus points or whatever.
Mhm.
I think those types of moments show him, well, I can do this. But now that I know I can do this, I don't have to do it all the time. Right?
Mhm.
I don't think he's chasing the accolades that Michael Jordan was chasing, like where Michael Jordan's like, oh, I want to, go out there and lead the league in scoring or whatever. Like, I don't think he has any inclinations to doing that. His entire focus seems to be on perfecting himself as a basketball player, working. Obviously, like, you can see his handle as a rookie, right? You can see his handle today. There's
Night and day.
leaps.
Yeah.
It's night and day. But people insist that he's not a good ball handler. I'm just like, dude, like, his handle was downright bad as a rookie.
Mhm.
He couldn't put two combinations together. Now he's just comfortably off the dribble, able to manipulate defense, shift. Like, he has so much more control over the basketball. So rarely do I see him lose it as it
Mhm.
comes up. So he's so much more comfortable as a ball handler today. And that's hard, man. Like, when you consider the distance that the ball has to travel, his legs are the same. If you consider this, his legs are the same length as Evan Mobley's. It's
Mhm.
hard to handle the ball when the ball has to come up so high. Like, he's not like Kawhi Leonard where he has short legs and the ball is just like low, right?
Yeah,
And
especially with how
so
pesky I think the guard defenders are nowadays too. Like even bad defensive guards can really pick your pocket sometimes. So yeah, like you're right.
absolutely. So yeah, like, so I think he will be a different beast in the playoffs. I hope that the team there's just so many players with so many agendas on this team that I hope it doesn't get in the way.
Yeah.
Right? Like there's Ingram who wants to solidify himself. There's RJ who's hunting for a contract extension. There's Immanuel Quickley who might be out, but who knows? Like if he comes back, he's going to want to reestablish himself as one of the best point guards in the league. There's a lot of people who have very individualistic goals. How long have you been a Raptors fan, Marlon?
Would have been the year before the championship year is when I really got into it.
Okay. So there's a team that I think Scotty would fit in perfectly on. It's a former Raptor team. I was thinking about this today. I'm like looking back at previous iterations of the Raptors. And I was like, what team would I love for Scotty to actually play on? Like what team would actually make sense? And it was the 2006-2007 Raptors. This was a team with Chris Bosh, Rasha Nesterovic, Anthony Parker, Jorge Barbosa, and TJ Ford as the starting lineup. And then off the bench, you had Jose Calderon, you had Joey Graham, you had Andrea Bargnani. If you replaced him with Chris Bosh in that lineup with his defensive impact, you gave him a shifty point guard like TJ Ford. You gave him, and he would naturally play the 3 in that situation with Anthony Parker, Jorge Barbosa as good shooters, TJ Ford as a good relief ball handler, Rasha Nesterovic as a good finisher and paint protector, especially with those lineups with Andrea Bargnani. Oh my God. And Jose Calderon being a really decent jump shooter at that point. He would have taken that team to like the Eastern Conference Finals. I'm convinced. Like he would have been so much better for that team than Chris Bosh was. And that's the type of team I pray that the Raptors build around him this offseason.
I don't know. Don't you think that we're so many moves away from like removed from that though? Do you think that, I wonder what your thoughts on this is, but do you think that our roster at this point is maybe a little too far gone to be fixed? Because clearly you can't fix this with 1 or 2 moves, right? Like I think I don't know about you, but I think it might take a little bit more than that.
You can fix it with 2 moves.
Okay, I'm assuming 2. Like it would take 2 major moves to materialize. I think to really make the roster fully fit around Scotty. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, it also helps when guys like Jacoby are coming off the bench and going on ridiculous heaters. Like I don't know, like the last 2-3 weeks now, the synergy between Jacoby and Scotty has been amazing. Like Scotty finds this guy in the corner, if he is leading the break all the time. It's so cool. And yeah, like I'm gonna go on a very mini glaze of like Jacoby Fest right now, but the guy is so impressive. I've been so happy watching him play recently. He's been my second favorite Raptor player in the last like couple of weeks.
Me too.
It's so good. Like even today, like the thing that I've noticed mostly about Jacoby is the confidence has gone so far with him. He is now pulling up from 3 like 80% contested with no problem and doesn't mind pulling it and knows he'll hit it. Like we've never seen this from Jacoby before, right?
Right.
This is a guy that used to maybe pull the trigger on an open 3.
Right.
If it's slightly contested, he's driving into the paint and probably causing a turnover. So the progression even just from the beginning of the season and now is crazy. And I will go so far to say that if we do end up matching up with Cleveland in the playoffs, in my opinion, the performance of Jacoby is probably the second most important performance on the team if you want to succeed in that matchup, in my opinion.
I disagree. I think the performance of Ingram will be the second most important performance, but after that, it is really up for grabs. It could be CMB,
Jacoby
it could be Jacoby,
yeah,
it
or
could
a
be
Jakob in my opinion because of the size. But yeah, I don't know.
like-
I just think because of the fact that you're going up against 2 of the greatest perimeter players in the league, you're gonna need a guy like Jacoby to really dial it the hell up in the playoffs to really make sure that these guys are locked. Yeah, like because you again, like I've mentioned before, you don't really have that. You know, like no one can guard. In my opinion, no one can guard.
He can't either.
Mitchell.
Just so we're clear, he cannot guard Donovan Mitchell. He cannot. Like, I don't mean to be rude.
Yeah,
I don't mean to be rude. I love Jacoby Walter. I'm never gonna talk shit about Jacoby Walter. He cannot guard Donovan Mitchell. He cannot guard James Harden.
But no one can guard Donovan Mitchell. Like,
there are people who can do 100 times better job at it. Like Cason Wallace would be a much better matchup. Alex Caruso would be a great matchup.
Sure.
If I go down the league, okay, let's put it this way. If we're doing a draft, who gets to guard Donovan Mitchell in this series, and it's for all the marbles, how many players in this league are you drafting before Jacoby Walter? If your answer is 30 or more, which it probably should be, then he can't stop.
I don't know if I would go that far. I don't know. I mean,
Keon Ellis.
Sure.
I would
Dyson
assume
Daniels, sure.
Dyson Daniels. Nikhil Alexander Walker.
Caruso, sure.
Nikhil Alexander Walker.
Sure.
Dude, we can go down the list. It's a very, very long list. I promise you. There's 2 players literally tonight that we face, Sadiq Bey and Herb Jones, that are better matchups for that. So it's just, when you think about it, like, Donovan Mitchell averages what he averages for a reason, because there's like 4 guys in the league who can give him trouble, and I promise you, Jacoby's not one of them.
How would you match up in the playoffs? I'm curious to hear. Against the Cavs.
No idea. No idea.
I'm assuming you're benching RJ. I mean, it's obviously not going to happen, but I'm saying if you were to figure it out, I in my opinion, you need to bench RJ, because holy, are we going to get fried by those 2 guys?
I think I would probably put RJ on James Harden.
Okay.
Believe it or not, like, Harden plays with the basketball a lot. He's not the greatest off-ball player. RJ's strong. He can deal with some of the bump stuff. James Harden. He also probably would take that matchup very personally. So I would actually put RJ on Harden.
I would actually put it, sorry to interrupt, but I would actually say that maybe Jacoby on Harden is probably the best matchup for Harden. Just because I think your issues with Jacoby guarding Mitchell is the fact that he can't keep up, which is true. And yes, Jacoby is definitely smaller than Harden, but I don't know. I think because Harden's a bit slower at this time, I don't know.
Harden doesn't beat you with speed. Harden beats you with manipulation, shot making, discipline, pump fakes. He beats you with craft, and Jacoby is not the most disciplined defender. So the levels to this. If you still had Davion Mitchell, then Davion Mitchell is the perfect matchup for Donovan Mitchell, ironically. Right. But because you don't have Davion Mitchell, I really don't know there's honestly, when it comes to Shai Gilgeous, this is like asking what would you put on Shai Gilgeous-Alexander or Luka Doncic. I mean, I don't know, hopes and prayers. That's the best matchup, right? You're gonna have to probably, like, here's the thing. If I was playing the Cavaliers, I would probably assume that Donovan Mitchell is gonna average 33 points per game. And then I would just try to make sure that I didn't let Max Strus and Jalen Tyson and Evan Mobley and Jared Allen go off, right? I would try to limit James Harden. And I assume that Scotty Barnes is going to guard probably James Harden or Evan Mobley in that series. Guarding Mobley is good because he's not necessarily the biggest stretch threat, but he's enough of a stretch threat that it could vacate Scotty from the paint. So you might actually have to go Scotty on Jared Allen. But then now, where do you put Jakob? So it's a very complicated series, and James Harden's inclusion makes it very complicated. The Raptors beat the Cavs, I think, 4 straight this year, but they didn't face a healthy Cavs team once.
Not once, yeah. And without Harden as well. So.
And without Harden. So, like, it's most of the time it was without Garland, and a healthy Garland at that. So it's very disingenuous to say, like, we're better than the Cavs. I don't think we're better than the Cavs. I don't think we're better than the Hornets. I don't think we're better than the Knicks. I don't think we're better than the Celtics, and I don't think we're better than the Pistons. But if we face the Hawks, I like our chances. If we face the Heat, I love.
So yeah, what realistic? Sorry to interrupt again, but what realistic team out of that top 6 right now, outside of the Cavs, do you think? Okay, the Raptors actually have a shot in this series, assuming Detroit is healthy.
Atlanta. That's it. Atlanta is the only chance. That's it. If Joel Embiid is healthy, you don't even have a chance against the Philadelphia 76ers. I hate to break it to you, but Tyrese Maxey and Joel Embiid, you have no matchup for either one of those players.
Right.
So. And they're too good. Joel would be probably the best player in that series if he's healthy. So, like,
would the Cavs be your favorite matchup then in that top 4 right now? because I mean Celtics with Tatum or Detroit with Cade, you definitely can't guard that either. I don't know. It might be a crazy take, but I think for me the Cavs might be my personal favorite matchup, even though I get the grievances that we don't have the perimeter defenders to guard those two guys, but
I just think Donovan Mitchell is such a good playoff player, and I have a lot more respect for Donovan Mitchell than pretty much anyone like who covers basketball.
yeah.
Like I see him as a top 6, top 7 player in the league, and I very often do not see him listed in those groupings.
Mm.
I just think when he gets going, he's impossible to stop. Like his shot making is so insane, and it's just like I cannot have Scotty risk getting foul trouble guarding that guy.
Yeah.
I have to hide Scotty in a sense so that he can help. But it's just like you just don't have anybody who can keep up with that level of physicality. He's so athletic. So unless he's hurt or he's, having a cold shooting series, I really don't think we have a chance in hell against Charlotte either, to be honest. Like I just think their spacing and shooting puts so much pressure. They have 4 ball handlers on the court at all times, not to mention a 5th ball handler now with Kobe White coming off the bench.
Mhm.
Oh, how much we could have used Kobe White. But nevertheless, I digress. Yeah, so again, this is going to be a first round exit in most cases. If there's a team that I could actually see us beating,
So
I don't know,
from
maybe if Detroit goes really cold.
that's what I was thinking as well.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking as well. Just because I don't know. I don't know. I mean,
it's a lot worse than Donovan Mitchell. A lot worse.
yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. And I think you also have the tools to guard Cade. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like
you can put Scotty on him. And,
That's right.
And that's the best matchup in the league for Cade. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, Marlon, thanks a lot for calling in. Any final thoughts?
Yeah, no, final thoughts are I hope we just keep pushing, and I don't know, I'm excited for the playoffs. I'm excited to see what we have here.
Yeah, absolutely. Me too. See ya. Actually, to say one more thing, I think the Knicks wouldn't be the worst matchup either, but I could end up eating crow on that one. D-Dub, what's up? Hello? You're on mute. I don't know if you're talking, but you're on mute. 3, 2, 1. Sorry, D-Dub. Oh, you unmuted yourself. Hey, D-Dub, what's up? Hello?
Sorry, Rob. Give me a second.
No worries. I am actually going to jump on Twitter Spaces right after this. Would you guys like me to just stay on camera while I talk on Twitter Spaces? Would that just make sense? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, what's up, D-Dub? Did you fall asleep? All right, dude. Sorry, D-Dub. Appreciate you calling in, but I cannot wait for a minute for somebody to get their shit together. You might have just been sleeping. I apologize. I think you waited for about 20 minutes or so, but yeah, or maybe somebody around you is sleeping, but yes, we cannot just this is a live show, so unfortunately you cannot wait for someone. But hopefully you call in again. And I don't think you called in before, so I hope we have a better experience the next time you call in. Let's check out what Twitter Spaces is saying right now. Raptors cookout a point guard Scotty. Okay, let's.
Shoulder being foobar, whatever the case may be with regards to that. Jamal Shed, yes, he has his issues when it comes to his shot mechanics. Yes, he's much smaller than Markeel Foltz. Markeel Foltz has had issues both staying on the court and in general shooting because of whatever injury may happen with his shoulder. So,
but he can't be. You have to be in a wheelchair to be a worse shooter than Jamal Shed, though. That's my point.
I'm not arguing that Jamal Shed is a good shooter, just so we're clear. I'm arguing that right now, the options are not great in general, and that's part of the reason why the Scotty Barnes point forward / point guard tonight, obviously.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear this?
Why that has been... Sorry, go ahead.
You have no choice but to play Scotty at point guard, unless you want to watch the team play 4 guys play ISO for the rest of the season. You have no choice but to
just
run.
the spacing in general.
Well, if you listen to Scotty's interview at the end of the game too, right? He pretty much called the team out by saying like, I want to make sure everyone gets the ball, they get their touches, everybody eats. He was calling out RJ, IQ, and BI. He didn't call them by name, but he basically called out their play. When he was asked the question of like, where do you? That's basically what he said.
Yeah, so to bring this back to an earlier discussion, I think that's part of the reason why the team plays so much better with more effort on defense and offense, because Scotty Barnes is significantly better than anybody on this roster when it comes to getting people involved and trying to
100%.
get them to
This guy cooking.
expend energy on both ends, especially on defense. Like even at Brandon Ingram, I know Ingram is not known for being a spectacular defender. There were a lot of times, like that Hornets game, for example, where he got a game-saving block. That's the type of energy that he brings to everybody on the floor. Everyone. It's what he does best. He is just an impeccable floor general in that Kyle Lowry-esque vein. They might not play the same, just to be clear, but in terms of just making sure that everybody's involved, everybody is engaged, and setting an example. That's the other thing. Setting an example on the defensive end. So, yeah. I do think that Jamal Shead, it's going to be interesting to see what happens in the offseason. Because, like I said, third-year player. What I will say is that his seat is a little bit hotter when it comes to the backup point guard role. And, yeah, it's probably going to be something in the draft that's going to be a major point of contention. We'll see where we end up in the general draft. I will say that considering that the next two drafts are apparently not that great, if there's any sort of draft and if there's any sort of way that
We're going to draft a backup point guard this draft. For sure.
whether it's backup, whether it's somebody who you think can grow into the role of general point guard,
Bennett Sturts.
That could be it.
move into being the full-on point guard and move IQ to the two.
Shooting,
I
yeah,
would assume
two.
that RJ and Gritty Dick next year are going to be off the
Like
roster.
the least IQ can have the ball in his hands, the better. If he can just be above a 3-point threat, a pull-up threat, the better. Like he doesn't need to have the ball in his hands dribbling around that much.
Yeah, off the ball, he is phenomenal. Like I don't remember the exact synergy statistic when it came to him, but that's part of the reason why the lineups with him and Shed have been as positive that they are, because you're playing him more off ball, you're setting up for more easy shots for him. He's not asked to create for teammates as much. So point guard is definitely going to be a point for the team in general to address. We'll see what happens with the draft. But as I was going to say, whether it's in the offseason, like, I don't know, if they trade for John Morant, which would be a choice. But if they want to go into the draft and they want to get, like, the point guard of the future, 2027, 2028, those drafts are apparently not that great. This is, if you want to distinguish yourself from Masai Ujiri, Bobby Webster, this is the year to trade up in the draft and get your guy, because we've gone into every single draft in the first round ever since Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri have been in charge. They've never moved up. Never. So that's one way to distinguish it. Sorry for getting a little bit off topic. But
No,
yeah.
it's all good. Again, my final point was just that IQ doesn't need to be rushed back when Jacoby can do what he does, but better.
Yeah, I don't think he needs to be rushed back either. I'm just in general wary of, especially when it comes to smaller point guards, rushing them back from injury, especially if it's something involving lower body. Do not want to see him back unless he is fully healthy. Like, obviously, if it's a dire situation and, like, the season's on the line, I expect Darko to get him to play, but I think that it's going to be, if that's the case, detrimental to Immanuel Quickley. And I guarantee you, if that happens, it's probably not going to play that well, and we're going to be having a whole other discussion about Immanuel Quickley. He's pictured the team, whether or not he's the point guard for the team. A lot of the points that we've hit on in the past and in previous discussions, when, quite frankly, he probably should not be on the floor.
To me, he's an unnecessary piece on the team because he's actually the most unnecessary starter on the team that we have.
I wouldn't go with unnecessary. He's the one that I feel, if you're trying to move pieces around.
Who's the easiest to replace in the starting lineup?
It depends what you mean by replaceable. If you're talking about skill sets,
yeah,
then I would say probably, I guess you could say Jakob Poeltl, but that feels like cheating.
He's our only center, so yeah.
Yeah, it feels like cheating to say that. If you're talking about the guards, like RJ's cutting to the rim is a lot more important to this team's offense.
Yep.
But
him getting to the
do
line,
think
him getting to the rim, that's more important than what IQ does.
I would say that Quickley's ability to space the floor is pretty valuable for Scotty Barnes, and
it can be.
I don't have the exact on-off numbers for him, but I would say that Immanuel Quickley, beyond the contract and him being a little bit more difficult to move, I think in the long term he is probably going to be more useful for the team, at least in the short term. Long term, you probably want an upgrade in the the back court for your point guard and your shooting guard. Like that's the area where this team is most lacking. So we'll see what happens in the future, but that would be.
I'm just saying he's the most replaceable in the starting lineup of anyone.
I don't know.
You could easily take Quickley out, insert Jacoby, and not miss a beat.
Again, I think it's a difference of
shot. Yeah, actually probably be better off.
Because Immanuel Quickley, he's asked to take a lot more difficult threes and create off.
No one asked him to take difficult threes. That's a choice.
That's a lie.
But part of the reason why that is a choice is because in a lot of
Unfortunately, my phone just died. So that did not occur to me that my phone was on such low battery, but my phone just died. So unfortunately, I cannot continue that. I was actually going to speak on that subject. I do not agree with this at all, that Immanuel Quickley is the most replaceable or most useless. In fact, I could argue he's probably the most useful player. He just plays the wrong way. RJ is clearly the right answer. I don't know how anyone can't see that at this point, but okay, cool. There's been small segments of this season where we have seen Scotty initiate offense and Quickley be the screener away from the ball and play off the ball a little bit more. And we'll see, a successful quarter of it, and then we'll just go right back to Immanuel Quickley running offense. It's an ego thing at this point. I know Immanuel Quickley's not a point guard. You know Immanuel Quickley's not a point guard. I'm pretty sure his family at this point knows that he's not a point guard. But this relentless pursuit of trying to prove that you are what you're not, I think it's childish. You're 26 years old. You've played point guard for most of your life, right? You played point guard in high school. You got to play a little bit of off guard, combo guard. You played occasional point guard in New York. We've seen it over and over and over and over and over at every professional level. It's not. Medved, you're wrong. If you want to call in and have a conversation about this, you can. But you're wrong. You're absolutely wrong. He is not a point guard. He is absolutely not a point guard. Low turnovers does not a point guard make, my friend. Scotty is not a point guard. Quickley is a point guard. LOL. You're wrong. You are wrong, bro. I'm sorry. I'm not. And, it's cool. We can agree to disagree. That's perfectly fine. I genuinely don't have any vested interest in trying to change. Scotty can't navigate screens. Who's setting the screen? Why don't you ask yourself that fucking question? Who is setting the screen? What if Miles Turner was setting a screen? What if Naz Reid was setting the screen? What if an actual stretch big was setting the screen? Now can he navigate the screen? Are we acting like Scotty Barnes cannot navigate a screen? What game are you watching? Come on now. This secondary playmaker from the elbow, like he can't navigate. Okay. Does Chris Paul shoot a ton of threes? Did Ben Simmons shoot a ton of threes? Did Magic Johnson shoot a ton of threes? Did LeBron shoot a ton of threes early in his career? Whatever you want to call it, dude. Honestly, it's not about point guard, small forward. I don't know why this has become like your go-to for this. Immanuel Quickley is not a fucking point guard. Most efficient as a scorer. He is most efficient as a scorer inside the middle of the court. Wherever the middle of the court is, that is where he is most efficient as an offensive player. I don't want to say scorer because Scotty's greatest gift is passing. So I want to say for the offense to work functionally, Scotty Barnes in the corner is the worst thing, and Scotty Barnes in the middle of the court which is exactly where Nikola Jokic is, which is exactly where Jamal Murray is. Now, if you think he's more Jokic than Murray, cool. If you think he's more Murray than Jokic, cool. I understand the limitations, and I've always acknowledged the limitations. I'm not stupid. I understand that pull-up jump shooting is important for a point guard in order to navigate screens. However, Giannis runs pseudo point guard, and he's not a three-point shooter. Okay? I can promise you Scotty Barnes is more of a point guard than Immanuel Quickley. It's not that hard to understand. That's it. That's all I'm saying. You and I can disagree on this. You and I have had a lot of disagreements recently on Scotty Barnes and the player that we see him becoming. I don't know if it's because you maybe thought he was going to become something else and then you didn't see him become it, so now you're upset. But honestly, like, if you watch his handle tonight, Scotty should be a point forward, play like Jokic, a point center. Okay, but dude, like, these positions are meaninglessly stupid. You are who you guard. So in that sense, Scotty is every position because he guards every position. But if you want to get down to the nitty gritty of it, Scotty Barnes is a small forward who can handle a lot of point guard duties. If you want to get very, very down to the minutia of it, yes. But Grant Hill got the ball in the middle of the court. Scottie Pippen got the ball in the middle of the court. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander is not a traditional point guard by any means. And that didn't change, or he's not like way better at it because he's a better three-point shooter this year. You have to understand, when you are making decisions in the middle of the court, setting up your teammates, processing the defense, you are the first initiator of the offense. This is why people say like point guard. When Scotty gets the rebound off the dribble, he is the best player to find the advantage in transition. So even if we're just going to exclusively make it down to play types, half court versus transition, Scotty is leaps and bounds your best playmaker in transition. By far. Like, it's not close. Don't even come at me. It's not close. In the half court, it gets a little bit tougher, which is why I've always suggested trading for Kyrie Irving. I wouldn't be suggesting trading for Kyrie Irving if Scotty was, in fact, Magic Johnson or, but when you consider what Kyrie Irving does, playing off of a player like Luka, playing off of a player like LeBron, he's the perfect fit. And that's the perfect type of player. So you need to find a player who has a lot in common with Kyrie Irving and who has more in common with Kyrie Irving than Kyrie Irving. That's the whole point. Scotty should play point guard, but he should play point guard the way Luka plays point guard, or the way Jokic plays point guard. And to say Jokic is the leading passer, decision maker on the Nuggets offense, it doesn't matter that he and Jamal Murray bring the ball up the court equal number of times. It doesn't matter. The offense starts with Jokic. Jokic is the author of the offense. LeBron was the author of the offense. Whether Daniel Boobie Gibson's the point guard or whether Mario Chalmers is the point guard, it doesn't matter. I want Scotty to be the author of the offense. Some people call that a point guard. Some people call it a point forward. You're getting stuck on semantics. However, I will say this. On an average point guard, who's your best defensive matchup? Think about it. Is Draymond the point guard in Golden State, or is Steph Curry the point guard? Who has more playmaking responsibilities? Who pushes the ball in transition? It's Draymond. These positions are meaningless. They're just a way for casual fans to follow the game. And you don't strike me as a casual fan, so we don't have to talk about the game this way. Anyways, Scotty thinks of himself as a point guard. I think of Scotty as a point guard. And whether he is a point guard who plays small forward, or a point guard who plays power forward, or a point guard who plays center, or a point guard who plays point guard, it doesn't change how I want Scotty to play, which is with the ball in his hands in the middle of the court. Anyways, I'll talk to you all later. Hopefully, this was a good episode. Shout outs to Alexander B. Scotty at the one took long enough. Shout outs to Karen Hall, member for 6 months. Scotty got the chain, of course. And also shout outs to B. Mac Fisher, Brian. As always, thank you very much for that. And yeah, I'll talk to y'all later. Gabe saying great live. Have a good one, Pen. Great live, man. Y'all, thank you so much for showing up. Thanks for being with us till 1 a.m. Peace.